Hey, welcome back to the Screen Team. We're almost done with this edition of the show. We've done a couple of different movies for you this evening, and now we're kind of switching gears a little bit. We are going to some rock documentary for you, and Jake and I have done rock documentaries before, but I don't think we've done one like this before. This is a movie that was directed and produced by one of the greatest directors of all time, Martin Scorsese, and it has to deal with one of the greatest bands of all time, The Band.
Yeah, one of my favorites of all time,
I mean,
for sure. It's hard to describe the band sound as a whole, but just good music. That's how I've always described it. The band is just good music.
Even though I guess the majority of them are Canadian, to me, it just sounds like a very Americana type band.
Yeah, folk rock, kind of southern rock, and a little bit of funk and stuff's thrown in there. So, yeah, just the band is a very good name for the band because they're just a band that plays good music.
Yeah. So this film came out in the 1970s, and by this time, the band had been playing on the road for almost 15 years, right?
Yeah, they started. Well, there's several different iterations, but a lot of the original members started playing with Bob Dylan. They were Bob Dylan's backing band, and then they, of course, produced the first album, and then it kind of just on the road from there. I mean, they played at Woodstock. You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
They played Woodstock in '69 and just kept on going. So yeah, for the better part, for most of the '60s, most of the '70s, they were out on the road. And
so we're watching this, and basically this last concert that they're filming is it's a show for them, their fans, but also their friends too. They invite all these huge names to come and play with them.
Yeah, we've got Eric Clapton. Of course, Bob Dylan comes back, plays with them. Neil Young. Neil Young's one of the artists that comes on there. Van Morrison. So, I mean, and even you've even got blues greats coming up on stage as well. Muddy Waters coming out there and performing with them. Yeah. So it's not just the band's music. A majority of it is. So if you love the classic band songs and you want to see them done very well, The Last Waltz, definitely a great concert film, but you're also going to hear stories about the band, about being on the road and touring and things like that. The origin of the band's name, where that came from, that story's in there. So if you've always kind of wondered that, you can. It's definitely a great film to check out. And it's hard to kind of, say that the film was directed because it was just a capturing of a live performance. And I think of a couple different nights of live performances for The Last Waltz.
Wasn't like Scorsese was like, all right, tell that story again.
Yeah, yeah, and play that song again, but do this, or my camera was out of tape or something like that.
But I will say there were a couple of scenes that it looked to be studio produced though.
Yes, their performance of The Wait was produced in a studio, which is the band's most famous song, what they're most famous for. So,
and there was also I don't know if you remember or not, but it was the end scene where they're all like on a stage and you see the camera on them, and the camera just pans back all the way, for like a mile it looks like, and you see them playing like the Last Dance wall or the waltz.
Yep. So there's some produced scenes, but it's definitely a movie. It's not just your kind of run of the mill live performance on tapes. It's definitely got movie aspects to it, and it's kind of, nothing had really been done like that at the time.
Yeah.
Nothing quite. Scorsese kind of made it his own, and I think he tried to do it again with the Rolling Stones, but they're never going to quit touring. So
that's true.
But the Shine a Light Rolling Stones documentary, very kind of similar style, more about the concert performance itself. Yeah. I think they just wanted to put Scorsese's name on it, sell more, but I don't know.
Do you have a favorite performance from the show?
Oh man, I think the performance of The Shape I'm In is probably. And that's just all the band, and of course the scene where they play The Wait too, with Mavis Staples that comes out. Of course, the Staples did their own cover of that song. It's hard to pick a favorite because I love the film. I've watched it too many times, And it'd been a while since I'd picked it up again, so and I think I'm going to go watch it some more. Dude,
Neil Diamond's in this thing, man. Yeah, I love it.
Neil Diamond, I mean, you've got pretty much, it took place in 1978. I think the concert was probably early 78, and I think it came out in December of that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much all of your mainline stars are from the 60s and 70s were in this movie.
Yeah,
and performing.
I think if you're a fan of music, and I think even if you don't know who the band is, I think once you watch it, you will be.
Yeah, and really, this movie is what made me become I was always familiar with the band, but this is what made me love the band and want to dig into deeper tracks and things like that.
Very good. The documentary is called The Last Waltz, directed by Martin Scorsese, about the last performance of the band. Jake, thanks for being on the show.
Not a problem, man.
Coming up, we got more reviews for you right here on The Screen Team. And remember, we want you to know before you go.